Hello everyone, Dan the 14th Prime here, back from my California vacation, and I had waiting for me here the Takara's Transformers Legends Galvatron. This is their equivalent Titans Return series Voyager class figure, done in their own deco. They are still using language like Headmaster, you see up there for the Nucleon figure, and Triple Changer down here on the artwork, which is refreshing. G1-esque for me, so I like that. When you come around to the side of the box, it's just got the product shot there. Galvatron in its three different modes. Classic cannon, kind of spaceship looking thing. Of course, bot mode there as well. And it's got Nucleon and how he fits into all of those different modes. A little bit of more of the same on the back, showing the triple changing effect and kind of a cool product shots on top of some cool artwork that you can kind of see underneath, if you will, in the background. So that's pretty slick. And on this side over here, you basically have an artwork rendition of the product shot, which is a cool piece of artwork. And it's really here on the top of the box where it does resemble a little bit more the Hasbro effect, where it's got Nucleon kind of doing the blast off, or actually it's more like lightning, electricity kind of connecting to the Galvatron body for the Headmaster effect. So that's the packaging, slick and efficient. I like it. Let's pop this guy out of the box and check him out. So here is Galvatron out of the box. I went ahead and transformed him into bot mode. We'll start here. I'll spin him around so you can take a look at the guy. Obviously he's very similar to the Hasbro figure. The mold is the same. I'm not seeing any molding differences, but the main difference is paint. You see a much lighter purple, and you see just some better paint detailing, particularly on Nucleon, which we will take a closer look at in a minute. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're familiar, but for those that aren't, Takara is the Japanese Transformers manufacturer. So they're often releasing the same figures and molds as Hasbro here in the States, only they just do, I think, a better job. They're nicer figures, nicer pieces, often because of simply some molding or tooling differences, tweaks that they do, or some paint improvements that they do. But getting this guy in the States is a little bit more expensive, considering your Hasbro figure is 20 bucks. Importing someone like Galvatron here can be upwards of $50 to $60. As we spin them around here, I'll just point out some of the obvious differences. The purple is much lighter than the Hasbro version. I'm kind of between the two. Hasbro was very dark. This is very light. So for me, the perfect Galvatron would probably still be somewhere in the middle. They do a better job at some level of paint detailing, particularly around the collar, where they come off the purple and go back to gray, and also kind of in the waist, where they do the similar. Also on the side of the figure here, you can see the tracks are gray, whereas Hasbro just kept all that purple as well. There's a little bit more paint detailing on these shoulder pads. The paint, the gray, goes further back, and it's got some splash of red on top as well. And you can see even on the back, they put the tracks themselves painted black, which is a nice detail, that Hasbro's just never going to do for us. There's a side angle view with that big cannon. Okay, so that's the wide angle turnaround and just some high level context on the figure and the paint apps, but let's go in closer and you can point some of this out in better detail. So before we go in closer on Galvatron, I'll just quickly point out here, the Takara version comes with this nice kind of color insert. Hasbro comes with, of course, a collector card. This does not. Hasbro has plain print instructions, so this one has kind of flashier instructions. But again, some cool artwork over there. Some product shots, tech specs here. And when you open it up, there's some sort of 2-page comic that I can't read sitting here. And then when you fold it out all the way, it's the transformation instructions, and I'll just walk you through transformation. So here's Galvatron up a little bit closer. I'll let you take a closer look at kind of the color here and just some of the detailing. Again, some of the better paint apps are kind of up here on the shoulder, the neck area, where they kept that more of the metalish color, if you will, that they're using, versus purple, which I believe Hasbro just used there kind of lazily. Come down, it's got the G1-esque look to it. He's got that ab section going, he's got that belt. And again, they've backed off the purple there in the belt area, which looks nice. And again, the shade of purple for me, it's a little light, but probably better looking than the Hasbro version, at least for me. I'm just going to pop that cannon off and get it out of the way. We'll take a closer look at it in a moment, but do want to show you kind of closer up. Again, there's that shoulder pad effect. So you get the red accent in there, which is nice. And then you see it's the two-tone kind of gray. and they painted this whole side. The darker color, Hasbro kind of cut it off about right there. And I've done a Hasbro video. You're welcome to look at that. I may also try to splice in some of that video here just so you can get some side by side. While we're upstairs, I'll show you the Headmaster effect, right? So the Galvatron faceplate just is on a spring, kind of open down the chest, and you can fold down the faceplate, and you can see how it just flips back up. Underneath there is Nucleon, and I gotta say the Headmaster Nucleon is way, way nicer than the Hasbro version. You can see he's got this Megatron-esque sort of look to him. There's a lot more paint detail on him than on the Hasbro. So let's just go ahead and pop him out of there and take a look. You can see the purple accented paints in there, the red eyes, silver face, all stuff, you know, Hasbro didn't do. I believe it's pretty much just a gray piece of plastic for the Hasbro, more or less. Again, I'll splice in a side by side. So that's the Headmaster, and they transform very simply, right? They just kind of fold open, and then you just spin the head around. And there he is. The arms are on kind of ball joints, so you can get a little bit of more movement with them. The legs are very fixed. But there he is, and you can see they made him look more like Megatron like this, because he's got kind of the color accents in the legs, the crotch area, and the red in the abs. So they push it even a little bit further like that. But it just looks really nice, and that face looks really nice. Their Headmasters are going to be a lot better than Hasbro's. So if you really like these things, you might want to be figuring out ways to get the Takara versions in mass, you know, because they're way nicer than the Hasbro version. And then he just folds back up like so. And again, you got to spin his head around to get him slotted back in appropriately. So if we just come back to Galvatron, then you plug Nucleon in there. Get the Headmaster power surge going, pull down this chest piece, and the mask is going to just flip up and cover Nucleon for kind of full-on Galvatron effect. And you know, one complaint with this is it just doesn't make a good face for Galvatron because his face is sitting so far back there. It actually just creates kind of shadowing on the face and everything, and it's really hard to get a good look at the face. So here I am pretty level and straight on, focusing on the face. And you can see it just really sits back because it's behind that face plate, which doesn't make for the best head effect for Galvatron's bot mode. Here's a closer up of the side. You know, you see a lot of the kibble there with the jetpack, the jet nose, I should say, on the back. But again, the tracks look nice. They made them gray, whereas this Hasbro's was purple, and then they even painted the back of the tracks black. So they did a nice job there. And you can see just down into the leg, you know, pretty nice job, very G1-esque with the coloring, accents, and all that. In particular, if I didn't point it out before, you know, just how they're trying to do the knees as well. Pretty nice job. You can take a look at the back of the figure closer up. I mean, it's the biggest kibble area, so it's nothing really special. But glad to see it's not too hollow on the back of the legs. And I'll show you the right side here, but I'll go ahead and put the cannon on so you can get a look at that. I mean, it's all jet nose and cannon from this angle. Big, big gun. Big, big backpack. I do like the orange plastic of the cannon. Again, very classic to the cartoon and the toy. So if we want to go ahead and transform Galvatron into cannon mode, let's go ahead and pop off the arm cannon. Let's pop off Nucleon. Let's get those guys out of the way. Go ahead and put the mask down into the chest. Go ahead and fold the arms up. He's got a double jointed elbow effect, and there's a tab there. So you can do that. Get these shoulder pad things out of the way. And he has a hinged side, so you can actually bring his arms down more by hinging them back. Like so. And then just fully extending basically the track to get the appropriate length. So we've done that. Let's go ahead and give his waist a swivel. Make sure you kind of pop this back piece off so it'll swivel. And I'm just doing this from memory, guys. Might not be perfectly step by step, but this piece will then cover the ab section. And you can put the tracks down, and you've largely got the top there right now. This just goes underneath, and this becomes kind of a stand that goes underneath as well. And there's kind of a little place you can peg it. So you get like this look right now. So you can see we're pretty far along. Now we just need to do the legs. And if you just fold the panels here all the way to the inside, and then point the toes into those hollow openings, give a little leg swivel, you'll see some tabbing start to emerge here. But what we want to do is fold it up so he's not so long. He's pretty long right now. There's kind of a double hinge mechanism right in here, so you can get the folding effect. It's kind of down into the leg and then back across it, and it'll compress the length of the cannon. And again, your tab is still right here. These pieces remain flat, kind of creating just a base effect. And that stays there. So that is pretty much how he's going to sit. And you can adjust kind of the cannon legs to do what you want. And oh, I did forget, hands in. Hands will just fold right into the forearm. Kind of the easiest thing, and I skipped that. Okay, so let's kind of open these up, get that out of the way, take the gun, and I'll let you take a look at it here as well. Again, nice job, some paint detail in here, silver here, they come back to the purple here, and this nice orange. So really nicely done. You want to kind of transform it by folding this up, folding that back. There's a peg, there's a peg. So let's kind of stick that together. You can see how that looks. And then just fold these up. And that is his cannon mode. So I'll let you take a look at the cannon mode here. You can balance it in different ways depending on how you're positioning the arms, and also this little stand underneath. So I've got him a little bit sort of, I don't know, 45-degree angle, maybe less, 35-degree, but you can actually play with that pretty well. But you can see it looks pretty nice, and it's pretty classic to the, the G1 toy in the cartoon. So I do like the cannon mode, save for the huge kibble nose underneath. For the airplane, which we'll get to in a second, I think the cannon does look really good. And it has all the same pieces, they're just using them some different ways, like the shoulder pads here. I think we're more out on the normal G1 toy. They're more up here, but you can actually adjust that however you like. Give you kind of the bird's eye view. Again, there's some of that paint differentiation and how that's being used in the cannon mode. And really nothing special underneath there. In terms of the Headmaster effect in this mode, there's nothing really magical. You've got Nucleon here. There are a couple of pegs here, and he can stand any number of ways that you'd like him to stand here. He can stand on it like that. He could just take one peg hole and face more forward. So that's really his level of how you get him engaged into cannon mode, which is okay. It's not great. He's not really piloting it or anything, but at least they figured out some way to get him engaged in it. So from here, let's go ahead and go into his jet mode. And we just need to pop off the cannon here, bring up the jet nose, put the shoulder pads back, creates a nice jet effect. Put this piece kind of back over the top. We want to kind of put his arms back, not his arms, but this sliding mechanism on the side. Go ahead and slide that back up and bring the arms down and just all the way around back, really like that, and put the tread underneath of it. So again, side piece comes back into position. Kind of bring that all the way around because you want the fancy flary piece on top and the tread underneath. Then For the legs, we want to tab them into the shoulders here. We're going to kind of create an A-frame effect. So you separate the legs, and the knee pad section just goes up onto that tab. So now you have them like this, kind of in that A-frame I was talking about. And then we just want to put the gun back on, which I believe we just transform kind of back to the way it was. And there's a peg underneath there, so we'll just peg that into the bottom. It goes like that, and there's this little landing stand that you can kick out there. Help this thing balance. And that's it. So here you have his jet. I'll let you take a look at this thing. I mean, it works. It looks pretty nice, I think. There's really the bird's eye view, so you can take a better look at it. And again, some nice paint accent here. Decepticon logo on the nose. So there is some nice detailing to it. Like how that knee gives it effect for the jet on the side. So it's pretty cool. And then in terms of getting Nucleon engaged in this, it works a little bit better in this mode. You can lift up the cockpit. And you just have him in a little seating position. He can pilot this jet. So that works much better. Much better integration. That's pretty cool. Okay guys, so there you have it. Takara's Legends Galvatron Headmaster. Again, nicer figure than Hasbro's. I think the color of purple is going to be a personal preference of people. This one definitely has better paint application detailing, particularly on the Headmaster. So that's really probably the two variables for you in terms of how much you're willing to pay. 20 bucks for Hasbro here in the States, maybe 50 bucks for importing this guy. Main differences are the shade of purple and then just the level of detailing of paint on the figure, and particularly on the Headmaster in favor of Takara. Hope you liked the video, guys. I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here. Today I want to share with you the Transformers Generations Titans Return Galvatron with Nucleon Voyager class figure from Hasbro.